Hi guys, Shima-san here, your favorite otaku straight out of Africa. I know my videos are usually energetic, packed with gimmicks and a lot of memes. A whole lot of memes, but today I'm gonna tone it down a bit because I don't think I can get through this video without being more serious and getting y'all to really focus and lock in. Plus, I'll be touching on some very sensitive themes and topics, so if you've had traumatic experiences in the past or you don't do well with combos on things like death and grape, I highly recommend some of my other videos, or you could just, get an otaku cohort to watch this and give you the breakdown, the full gist of it. That being said, keep in mind I'm only toning it down to like 60%, so there will be memes. Oh, there will be memes, but they'll be regulated. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So I've seen a lot of sad anime, ranging from action or romance, basically other genres of anime with sad moments and elements, all the way to anime that give off a pretty ambiguous vibe but have like a kind of overall gloomy undertone, if you know what I mean. But then there are animes that authors make just to make you cry.
Like what kind of food?
And today I'll be focusing on such an anime, and the name of the anime in question we're going to be talking about is Bokurano. For those of you who know this anime, see you in the next AA meeting, and for those of you who don't, look no further for a better summary. Now I know some of you are already calling cap, like when there are animes out there like I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, To Your Eternity, Oshinoko, Berserk, Guilty Crown, Mushoku Tensei, You Lie in April, the list goes on and on. But all these animes have something that Bokurano doesn't, and that's hope. When it comes to any of these shows I just mentioned, even if the main character isn't the beneficiary or a lot of people get unalived in the first episode, or the anime/manga ends on a very annoying, confusing and conflicting note, there's always a sliver of hope that during or post-anime we can use to console ourselves saying last god day. But Bokurano doesn't have that. If anything, it gives you false hope and it still takes that away in the end. There's no possible way to avoid spoilers, so I'm not even gonna try. The series follows the lives of 15 middle school kids at a summer holiday program. This is literally the happiest thing you will hear me say till the end. They shall discover an odd cave, and kids being kids decided the perfectly logical thing to do was check it out. Foreigners. In the cave, they find a weird and creepy setup with a weird and creepy man to match. Said creepy man then proceeds to talk to these underage kids and ask them if they would like to play a video game, to which the kids say, foreigners. And that's how it all started. That's when they realized maybe saying yes to the creepy game by the creepy man in the creepy cave was a bad idea. But hey, shit happens. I mean, it would have happened to me or any other kid that grew up in even a remotely normal African household. Bruh, over here, 7 out of every 10 old people is a witch, and that's on the street, talking less of a freaking cave. So what you need to do is run home and tell your auntie, who is probably also a witch but most likely to be a superior witch, so she can deal with it for you. But I'm getting off track, let's get back to it. The kids get a shocking revelation that everything Kokopelli said about the game was not a bluff, and soon found themselves in the cockpit of a giant robot fighting against another giant robot. I mean, they won and went home, but later on this time found themselves talking with a tiny alien called Koyemushi, who is, let's call him their manager from now on, and he chose a new pilot. The second enemy appears, this time Kokopelli nowhere in sight, but the kids catch their stride and kick ass. Shortly after the fight, their friend, the new pilot, falls off the robot and is later found dead. Things get crazy, the police get involved, and everyone's confused, but the kids' summer program is over and the kids go home. Like proper go home. No time to rest or grieve though, because the next pilot has already been chosen. At this point, the series gets darker, and we also start seeing the kids' personal lives, and we realize that this big battle for the fate of the earth they've gotten thrown into, they all have personal things that they're still going through. It's later discovered that the kids are piloting this gigantic robot at the cost of their own life force. And need to win all 15 enemies or Earth will be destroyed. But then if they refuse to fight within the next 2 days, the Earth will also still be destroyed. So whatever they decide to do, they still die, but they just have the luxury to decide how quick they die and how big a death toll they'll take with them when they're dying. Also, they may be middle schoolers, but that doesn't make them all good people, as the next pilot gets chosen and another battle ensues, this time with the government actually lending a hand, but the kids can't fight because the new pilot that was chosen is nowhere to be found. He figures, hey, screw everything, if I'm gonna die and the planet is done for, I might as well grape this girl who I've been trying to get her attention, but I just can't take no since she rejected me. I'm just gonna, in the midst of everything, I'm just gonna do it. And in the chaos of the battle, he dies. So we literally just lost another hope for Earth over some dumb shit, and Koyemishi literally transports his body into the robot for the rest of the kids to see. It's crazy, it's a lot. Sha, if it makes you feel better anyway, he was a terror to his mom. But I don't know, even if you find out that what you carried in your stomach for 9 months was the devil, you'd still call him your little angel. Moms are just, connected like that. It's connected like that. And it keeps going like that. It's a whole lot of mixture of emotions and things going on, only to bring you to the fact that the Earth isn't just at stake. The whole universe is at stake. These middle school kids are literally fighting for the fate of the universe. But the plot still thickens. It thickens still, as they're not the only ones fighting to protect their Earth. There are multiple parallel universes, each of them with their own Earth, and yeah, maybe you might have figured it by now, but the baddies aren't just some autonomous robots that are coming to attack the heroes. They're also fighting other humans from their own respective universes, trying to save their own respective Earths. They find this out when they're transported to a new battleground, and waiting for them was a surprise trap where all the inhabitants of the parallel Earth are literally chipping in to support their own 15 heroes because they don't want their Earth, their universe, to be erased. And Koyemishi, aka the manager, really doesn't give a shit. He's just like, you need to kill them dead and proper, if not, it's not gonna count as a win, right? So these kids learned their saving by murdering. They were actually murderers and had to come to terms with, better us than them. And they're still gonna die even if they win the fight. That's the crazy part. Still adding to the plot, they later discovered that one of them is actually a traitor who intentionally led them into that cave, into signing up and into playing this game and getting them involved in this whole thing. Because if you do manage to win all your 15 battles, the last person standing has the opportunity to move to another parallel Earth, but needs to dupe another set of 15 players to join that Earth in, and then the cycle just keeps repeating itself. So in episode 1, when "Look, it's a cave" girl said, "Look, it's a cave," she basically made them all sign their death warrants, except maybe that one girl who, didn't participate in the game. Kokopelli was in fact from a parallel Earth, and Koyemishi, he used to be human. He agreed to get turned into that alien life form being by another alien who, if you're following me, was probably human at some point. So the cycle of struggle and die keeps repeating itself. Talk less of normal innocent civilians who were on the ground, who ended up getting caught in the crossfires in the battle terrain when all these battles were happening from any universe at all. And we haven't even got into the payoff yet. The big payoff is that all this happened because some intergalactic gods called the rulers felt the universe was a bit too crowded, and so they started this whole sick thing, this sick chain of events. And like I said, any planet that loses not just your Earth but your entire universe gets destroyed, wiped off clean off the map.
てくれたから、私、戦えたよ。
誰だこいつら。遠くて大きすぎる。奴らには勝てない。
And the kids actually had to watch an entire universe get obliterated right in front of them. To think about all the people they had to watch die. They basically watched 7 billion people get incinerated. They killed 7+ billion people. And yeah, all of this is sad, but the reason I called Bokurano hopeless is because at the end of the day, even if a particular Earth wins and they manage to beat all other 15 Earths coming after them, after their Earth, it's not safe. Their Earth is not safe. It's just been chosen as a good power source for the rulers, and they just chill till the rulers are ready to come and collect, because the Earths at the end of the day are going to be power sources. So it's kind of like weed out the rubbish and weak earths and then keep the good earths because they're strong power sources. So even if you manage to win and you're the last person of your 15 standing and you keep going to parallel earths, eventually when you run through all the earths, you're just gonna be another power source. You're still gonna die. You're just fuel. That's why I say Bokurano is the saddest anime ever, because if you think about it in the long term, there's no hope, and at the end of the day, everybody is still gonna die. When you think about shows like Berserk, as depressing and as sad as it is, God still has hope because God still has the will to live and fight. Even if he doesn't, even if he can't envision a future where everything is cool and the world is free of apostles and stuff like that, he at least sees the future where he can chop off Griffith's head. I want to eat your pancreas. Our girl died, but at the end of the day, the boy got a new lease on life. Meshoka Tensei, Paul died, Zenith died, and if you read the light novel, the man god has actually been an all along. But at the end of the day, even if Rudius dies and everything, his kids still save the day. The only anime I could say was probably as sad or made me a tad sadder than Bokurano was Graveyard of the Fireflies, because that's an amazing movie. That actually genuinely made me cry and I was messed up for like a week. Top 2 best animated movies of all time, honestly, if you're asking me. I really felt that in my soul and it changed me. It changed my perspective on a whole lot of things and violence. But hey man, as much as I call Bokurano dark, there are a lot of positive things to learn. I definitely glossed over a lot of things and didn't explain some things properly. I think one of the best ways to make sense of everything I've said so far is to actually go and watch it and experience it for yourselves. It's about 24 episodes, so if you're really about that life, you can lock in and get it over with in an afternoon. And honestly, I'm grateful that we get a chance to experience animes like this. They don't come out every day, but when they do, they definitely are an experience. They change the narrative and push the envelope. There's a lot of plot weaving and world building. It's so spectacular. Whatever the case is, let us know what you feel in the comments. If you've seen it, if you're about to see it, go watch it, go come back to this video and let us know what you're thinking in the comments. Once again, this is Shima-san from Otaku from the North, signing out. So I came back because I sensed a couple of y'all just finished watching the video and you're about to leave YouTube without subscribing or following up the page. Don't do that. Don't be unfortunate. All my viewers on this channel, we have home training. Let's follow up. Let's subscribe, guys. And to the rest of y'all that were thinking about doing that, I will find you.
And I will end you.